We finished up our state of the franchise by looking at the defending Cup Vegas Golden Knights. We see what's going on with our friend Chris from Locked On Golden Knights. What's going on with Vegas if they can make a repeat, and just kind of what's next in this Pacific Division. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at Inside the Rink. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks or Locked On Golden Knights your first listen. I'm with Chris today. Chris, how's it going, buddy?
That intro hurt you a little bit, didn't it? I honestly, I wore this hat kind of to take a dig, and then I felt maybe I didn't need to do that. And then after your intro, I don't feel bad about wearing my hat.
No, I as a longtime Sharks fan and a longtime Dolphins fan, if you've been a listener of Locked On Sharks time, sports can no longer hurt me. It's just how do I get kicked in the nuts next? That's basically the kind of the and
I understand.
Vegas last year, they found a way to do it, kicking every Sharks fan in the nuts by not only winning the Stanley Cup, but doing it with the discarded Adin Hill. Of course, Sharks fans were happy to get a fourth round pick for one offseason ago. But Chris, let's start. What is the state of the defending Cup Vegas Golden Knights? What is the state of the franchise right now?
It's good. Not just, but not just for the reasons. The team has their identity right now.
Yep.
A concern, I think, starting off with the Golden Knights in the Bruce Cassidy era, and it took about half the season to find it, was what was the identity of the team going to be like? And honestly, the team, in my opinion, didn't really take on their identity until the trade deadline. Not just Barbashev, but even Teddy Bluger to a sense. We didn't see him a whole lot in the playoffs, but he was ready if needed. And the team became very difficult to play against, a very physical, tough, all of a sudden grinded out team that figured out how to score at this crazy pace that, is probably unrepeatable for the Golden Knights. But so it's nice seeing the identity, and now nice having Barbashev. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, of course, but nice seeing all these components pretty much returning, less Riley Smith, of course, for now this season.
Yeah, it's this team is basically since its creation has been cup or bust, it feels like. And there's, as Sharks fans, right, we've lived that life, that cup or bust life for 15 years. And unfortunately, it just never broke the Sharks way. And, it's you have to tip your caps to the Vegas where they're willing to make bold moves. They're willing to make moves that doesn't maybe make sense to us. And they are not willing, like if they see something's not working, they're not going to just kind of try to wait it out. They're going to try to make a move. And it can be very ruthless, as we've seen with some of the ways they've treated some other players. But they're going to be unfurling a banner here in about a month while the Sharks are going to be probably picking top three, if not maybe the first overall pick again this year. Hopefully this year.
Yeah, right. What's kind of funny is I've gotten roasted for this in Locked On Vegas Golden Knights and also Vegas Hockey Now for just reminding Golden Knight fans that, listen, Bruce Cassidy, awesome coach, won the Cup, doesn't have to buy a drink for a long time in this town. But honestly, if things don't go well, for the next 2 seasons, Cassidy will be gone. And that's the lifestyle. That is the, Kelly McCrimmon, he has no heart when it comes to running this franchise. And I don't mean that in a bad way either. I mean that in a good way. There's no hearts. There's no, I can't say that word, but there's no hearts. And he is going to do what is best for the team in a very unapologetic fashion.
Yeah. There's having an owner like that is great. because again, he cares about putting down a winning product, and they missed the playoffs once in their history, and they turn around and then won the cup the next year. When they got a little bit of lucky, of course that's part of every Stanley Cup run is getting
No
lucky.
doubt, 100%.
Having guys get hot at the right time. So let's talk about some of the enjoyment. So how great is it just watching your favorite players just spending the day with the cup?
I want to know what it is with all these guys taking the cup to water. Me and Tony have been joking about this all summer. Every Stanley Cup picture, not everyone, but most of them, water is in the background, and multiple players have had their arm around the cup. Them, and the picture is from behind them with the Stanley Cup, like arm around the cup, like they're out for a date or something like that. And just, don't get me wrong. I actually got to see the Stanley Cup. Actually, me and the family got a picture with it and a moment with it. So it was kind of cool. So, don't get me wrong. I get it. It's remarkable being that close to it and the feeling and the energy. And I'm a nobody. I didn't earn the cup. I didn't do anything for it. These guys worked their entire life for it. And so to get that moment, it's fun. It's interesting to see. Like most of the players, they wanted to share it and do something good with it. Many of the players took it to first responders. They took it to hospitals. They just took it to people who are influential either in their personal life or influential figures in the communities that they come from. And that to me, all jokes aside, that to me is the best takeaway of watching all these celebrations. And some of the ones got a little bit funny. I was just talking to Keegan Colasar at a charity golf tournament a couple days ago, and Colasar's motivation to repeat is to get another summer of partying. So,
that's a pretty good, especially. It looked like the parade in Vegas, doing it at night, perfect.
It was fun.
It looked. I was very much the Bart shutting the blinds, checking it out on social media, but it looked like they had a fun time there. So
it was a train wreck in Vegas, epic proportion.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So what do you think? Biggest storyline for this team, kind of this off season, other than how many bodies of water are going to be is the Stanley Cup going to be in?
I think at first, and this was just 11 days after the parade, was the Riley Smith trade. Riley Smith basically sent to Pittsburgh so the team could go with the 5 years younger Ivan Barbashev and to keep that top line intact. And I think equally as maybe surprising was Adin Hill getting 2 times 4.9. I was really hoping the number would be somewhere in the 3.5 range, a little bit of a hometown love, maybe a little bit more term. But he got 2 and 4.9. Personally, I'm a little concerned about the size of the contract, being that he has never started greater than 26 or 27 regular season games in his entire career. And the fact that Logan Thompson also had injury trouble last year. So if both goalies are healthy, it's going to be one of the top tandems in the league. Neither one might be the best goalie in the league, but that's a very good 1A and 1B to have. If they both get injured, which most likely is going to happen, that's just the reality that we have to acknowledge. Now we have Yuri Patera, who is our starting goalie in the AHL, who started 2 games last season in the NHL. I'm concerned about that.
All right. We'll get more into the Vegas's off season here in a second, where we'll talk about the draft, talk about kind of taking care of some of their own guys and kind of their cap situation going forward. But before we do all that, I do need to take a quick break, talk to you guys about a new friends of the show, Jase Medical. So if you're worried about, natural disaster, maybe you're running out of medication, anything, right? You never know when something might happen. That's where Jase will come in, right? Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase Case. Jase Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you a peace of mind so that you're not hoping to have access to medication in emergency, right? You never know when emergency is going to strike. Jase Case makes it simple. So that way you have medication on hand. They handle everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Don't get caught unprepared. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 when using the code LOCKEDON at checkout. on jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Promo code locked on. All right. We'll start with we'll go in order. We'll start with the draft. I know Vegas didn't have a second or third round pick, right? I believe I know they had a first round pick where they picked one David Edstrom out of Frölunda.
Whatever you say.
Yes. Fun fact, at the draft, I was at the draft, sitting next to one of the Frölunda representatives who does some of the social media accounts and stuff work for them. Really nice lady. But if you don't know too much about Edstrom, so center for Frölunda, 6'3", 185 pounds, kind of was one of those potential picks for the Sharks at maybe 26 or at 36, especially if they maybe had gone defense, or Quentin Musty, or soon to be Lord and Savior Quentin Musty wasn't there for the Sharks at 26, but felt very much like a safe pick. Like, this guy's going to be an NHL player for Vegas in the future. Definitely a middle six type of guy, and this is how they've won their cups, won their cup and has been good, is by being very strong down the middle. And I think Edstrom is he's going to be a quality player for them, in a couple of years. So yeah, that's the Edstrom pick.
You're giving way too much credit to the Golden Knights developing someone right now.
You and I both know they're just going to trade him in like a year.
No, honestly, that is a very reasonable perspective. He does have all the metrics that you mentioned. I don't need to repeat all that, but he definitely does have everything that you said. Potential is there, sure, but I mean, the Golden Knights had Nick Hague in the lineup. I believe he's the only quote unquote homegrown talent right now that is competing at the NHL level with regularity, I guess.
Yeah.
Will he possibly someday be a Golden Knight, 2, 3, 4 years down the road from now? Possibly. Could he become the next Zach Dean, who the Golden Knights needed to trade away to acquire Ivan Barbashev? It's probably the more likely scenario. And the Golden Knights have made, a young living at doing that. They're flipping these prospects, making these deals. It works out sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you trade the farm and you wind up with Tomas Tatar, who winds up being a healthy scratch in the playoffs in the Stanley Cup final. And then sometimes you unearth something nice like Chandler Stevenson, who was a fourth line nobody, and now he's a top 2 center. So that's kind of how the Golden Knights do it right now. So, LA Rams, F those picks, right? Can we say that?
Yeah. Dolphins fan, we're also in that same boat right now. But
Tyreek Hill, crazy, by the way. I know this is a hockey thing, but oh my God, I didn't get any of my fantasy teams. I'm so sad right now.
Tyreek Hill and Tua, I always believed. Anyway, but no, I mean, it's kind of right. David Edstrom, he's not going to help the Vegas Golden Knights in any real capacity for a minimum of 3 years.
Not going to be at the rookie face-off this weekend either.
What makes sense, right? I mean, with that, right, where it's not, the SHL is getting ready to start their season here pretty soon. Like, don't drag him out for a weekend, send him halfway across the globe. I totally get that, right? He's not going to make the team. He's not going to be playing in the AHL this year. Just let him go marinate. Same thing with Phil Beestead, the Sharks' first-round pick from 2021.
We get to see William Eklund this weekend, right? I'm excited for that. I like William Eklund.
We will see Mr. Eklund. Yes, we'll get to very much the rookie face-off here in a little bit, but so I if you told me if 50-50 chance that Edstrom is traded or Edstrom plays on the Golden Knights,
over.
I mean,
over on the trade side of that. Sorry.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, especially again, if a team that's looking to repeat, or maybe if you want, might be in a position to win 2 out of 3 or something like that. Like he could definitely be dangled for a good piece. And because GMs love a 6'3" guy who can skate, and he's a center, and he's going to be a quality player for a team down the line. So whether it's Vegas Golden Knights or for somebody else, he will definitely be there. Free agency, mostly just kind of taking care of your own guys, right? Re-sign Barbashev, as you mentioned, re-sign Adin Hill. What do you think? We'll start with Barbashev. What did you think about re-signing him?
Barbashev was the missing link. I mentioned that's when I felt this team developed their identity. And once Barbashev joined the team, here's what happened. Jack Eichel leads the entire league in playoff scoring. March or so is Conn Smythe, and the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup. If Ivan Barbashev does not become a Vegas Golden Knights, I don't know which one of those three scenarios does or does not happen.
Makes sense. Yeah. Also, does he get like Barbashev? I'm sure there has to be something there, right? Ever since like when he was back in the day, right? You had the great Sharks Blues kind of mini rivalry for a couple seasons. Barbashev. Why? I'm sure there's something there. Somebody much smarter than me.
You don't hear it in Vegas, though. You don't hear it too much. It's and even like call him Barbie a little bit, but you got the weird story with Ben Hutton in the Barbie Girl song. If you happen to catch that from a long time ago, I'm assuming it was like a school. I want to say hazing. It's not the right way to say it, but he was on stage doing something, and Ben Hutton had to lip sing and dance the whole Barbie Girl thing and all that, and so
that's stuck. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't hockey nicknames. Yeah, they're crazy where they come with.
Put a Y at the end and call it good.
Yeah, that too. So it's either some insane story or just a Y. My favorite is just how Joe Thornton just comes up with people's nicknames because I don't think he can remember half people's names, so he just kind of like goes off and with some of them. So but Adin Hill, right? I too was a little shocked to see the $4.9 million. So 2 years, totally
in
fine.
Vegas, I was shocked. In Vegas, I was shocked.
Again, rough year with the Sharks. Majority of the time was injured, right? He basically came back right before the All-Star break. He got hurt, came back, played one game. My favorite like dumb stat, played one game, gets a 3-0 shutout against the against the Kings, and then we never see him again. And he gets shipped off for a 4th round pick. But are you like he was outstanding, excellent. All the credit in the world to him in the playoffs, but when it's game 56, and it's been a full season and guys are getting hurt, are we worried that Adin Hill is not going to be able to perform up to the expectations that come with that contract?
Health pending, yes. Talent pending, probably not. He's comfortable now. He knows he can. I mean, you gotta give the guy a ton of credit. He put up the second best save percentage in the entire postseason history, only behind Tim Thomas. Interesting stat here. So a couple things here. One, when Adin Hill came in the previous season, he was making 2.1, 2.2, whatever the number is, but basically about 3 times what Logan Thompson was making. Logan Thompson was still the day one starter last season. And this is another thing I'm getting just grilled about from the Vegas Golden Knight fans. I don't even think if both goalies are healthy for the entire season, they're not going to be. But if they are, I think Logan Thompson will start more games than Adin Hill. I think Logan is the better goalie of the two. And something that people seem to have forgotten is when both goalies were healthy last season, Logan Thompson, game started, 35. Adin Hill, 18. 2-1 pace. So,
and even the year before, when Logan Thompson almost single-handedly drug Vegas into the playoffs until our local hero Thomas Bordeleau put it into that.
Was Bordeleau that got that goal?
That was Bordeleau got that.
Wow,
goal,
I know that's Bordeleau. I like Bordeleau too.
Yeah, he was a little guy out there. It can be hard to miss sometimes, but anyway, we have to cling to the little things we have right now in San Jose. So, but Logan Thompson looked like he was going to be the dude for Vegas, and like you said, right, if everybody's healthy,
he is the dude.
Yeah. If everybody's healthy, was Adin Hill going to be the 3rd goalie last year? It looked like at some point between, because I know again,
Brossois,
goalies and health in Vegas right now. It's always it's weird thing.
Either a health issue or we got a snake farm to manage. It's all sorts of wackiness in Vegas. Goalie issues in Vegas, like we're used to it. So there's nothing new that can be thrown at us this year with the goalies.
So quickly on the cap, though, I mean, I know Vegas is pretty tight. They got some LTIR here. They just signed Maxime Comtois to a PTO, who I assume as soon as the regular season starts, he'll get a little contract there. A nice little, I would assume, vetman prove it contract where he'll probably put up a bajillion points because he's going to be playing with like Eichel or whoever they want to throw him with. And Comtois is a scorer. He can score. So I think he's going to have a very nice. He's going to be one of those was like, how did he stay on the market for this long? So, but you think any other moves for Vegas to try to kind of free up some cap space, or you think they're just going to ride and die with what they got right now?
You know what? It depends. A couple things. So Comtois, I mean, we'll see what the final number is for him. I love the upside there. Just watched a nice highlight package of him, put it in my Vegas Hockey Now article coming out. It's a diamond in the rough type of scenario. We mentioned Chandler Stevenson a little while ago, 19, 12, 13 points with Washington. He scores 60 points every year at the Vegas Golden Knights now. Nicholas Waugh was a nobody in Carolina. He's now an everyday contributor in the lineup. So this is kind of the same type of situation. But back to the salary cap, it's $850,000 approximately when you factor all the LTIR stuff. Do the Vegas Golden Knights make a move? Do they need to make a move for Comtois? Because there are 23 of 23 roster spots.
Yep.
They have players that are two-way eligible. Cotter and Braden Pahal have two-way contracts, but they're not necessarily waiver eligible. So, you send them down at the start of the season, but that's it then at that point. You can't keep doing the juggling act. So we'll see what the dollar figure factors for Comtois, assuming they sign him, and then who the odd man out's going to be.
Yeah. It's always Vegas and they always seem to make it. There's always a sucker out there who's willing to take a bad contract, and we've seen it. Hello Vancouver, hello Arizona. There's always a team out there willing to take a bad contract.
Washington giving Tom Wilson 7x7. What are we doing out there?
Believe me, I've got plenty of bad contracts I can look at in my own backyard. So before we continue, though, we got to look at kind of what's next for Vegas, talk about a little bit about the Pacific. Do want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks or Locked On Golden Knights your first listen. Proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And Chris, we are back to 5 times a week next week. I know you're excited. I'm excited. And we got the rookie face-off this weekend, where I know Saturday night we have the Sharks pups versus like the Squires, the Bronze. What do you call it? What is? I mean, you've got the Golden Knights, the Silver Knights. What would be the prospect? Like
Man,
the Squires?
what's lower than that? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Squires
could be
the
fun.
Peasants.
We call them the Town Criers because we got a goofball in Henderson. He's the Henderson Town Crier, and good thing you didn't have Tony on the show today because Tony can't stand him. So, but yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure we'll both be talking about that early next week. The recapping on that. At least I know that again. That's all we have to live for in San Jose right now is the prospects. So
listen, I like the path of the Sharks. The Carlson trade was good. I don't know if it was great, but it at least got the process going to officially start the rebuild now.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a long season in San Jose. But anyway,
that's good though. You want that. That's what you want. That's what you want right now.
At least last year, like I had Erik Karlsson doing cool things. So it'd be like, oh, it might be a random night, like a Tuesday night. And then it's like, oh, Karlsson put up 4 points. Like, yeah.
He was so good
but they
to
still
watch.
lost.
He's so good to watch on the blue line just to manage it. So good.
Just manage. But if you want to follow along and hear what Erik Karlsson's team's like, or what it's like to win a Stanley Cup, make sure you guys are following Locked On Sharks, Locked On Golden Knights, wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. All right, Chris. So this year, what is the best case scenario for Vegas, and what is the worst case scenario for the Golden Knights?
I mean, the obvious is a deep playoff run, hopefully a potential repeats. All the same players are back, less Riley Smith, unfortunately, and Phil Kessel, who doesn't get enough credit, not on the stats side of what he did for this team, but what he did in the locker room. So many players, Eichel, Marchessault, et cetera, were quick to give him credit for his positivity and what he did in the locker room. And they also all did some great impersonations of him, too, in random interviews and podcasts and stuff like that. The worst case is, and it's a very reasonable chance that this season does not go the way Golden Knight fans would like it to. And, they wind up having a hard time and don't make the playoffs. Like, it's possible. It's a reality that, again, a lot of Golden Knight fans don't like to acknowledge that possibility, but It's been a short off season. Mark Stone's back is still a big question mark. Like it's literally shaped like a question mark too. So, although that could free up an opportunity to get a huge superstar, down this never mind. Sorry. I hate to, I sound like Tony again right now. But point being is there is a chance that it's a short off season. The team isn't back to full health, and Edmonton Oilers are going to be on a mission this year. Connor McDavid especially is going to be on a mission. The Kings aren't going to slow down. Seattle made some wonderful moves. Even Anaheim might just knock on the door a little bit and not be the doormat that they've been. So, the worst case scenario is the Golden Knights don't even get close to the playoffs, or they're a fringe playoff team. And then all of a sudden they're shipping players like Chandler Stevenson and Jonathan Marchessault, who are in the final years of their contract. And, both of them, especially Stevenson, he's been dramatically underpaid. And not that we fleeced him or anything like that, just he's overperforming his contract. He's going to make up for lost time. And Marchessault, if he doesn't have to give Vegas a friendly deal, he very easily can get $7 million on the open market at the end of next season for 2 years.
Yeah. And I think, like we touched on earlier, if the goaltending falls apart, right? If Adin Hill turns back into a pumpkin, if Logan Thomas, if those guys can't stay healthy, you talked about the depth behind. It's pretty shaky behind this.
No depth.
Yeah. So, and as great as Vegas's defense is, and as great as their forward group is, we in San Jose have seen bad goaltending torpedo plenty of opportunities there. So yeah, I could totally. We talked about the last year, right? The goaltending, I think we said in the same show, I can see that if the goaltending's good, I can see this team being amazing. If the goaltending's bad, you're going to cross your fingers and hope that you can win a lot of 6-5 type of games. But all right, I know Vegas doesn't have a ton of young players, but I'm very curious about Brisson, who kind of feels like he should be getting kind of the same thing with Thomas Bordelot, right? They're kind of same draft here, should be kind of getting ready to make an impact here. You don't look super thrilled about Brisson, Chris. So what's up with him? Is he ready to make that step, or is he? So
his stats got a lot better. He was 30-something points in 50-something games in the AHL last season. Good start. And the Henderson Silver Knights were not a good team last season either. So, it's commendable, his stat line. Great shot from the circle, especially on the power play. He's got a great future in him. Is he developing fast enough? I don't know if I'm sold on that just yet. Pavel Dorofeev is basically a year ahead of Brendan Brisson, and Dorofeev played 18 games for the Golden Knights down the stretch, getting 9 points, 7 of which goals. Fun fact, his very first goal came directly off of his shield on a deflection. So, but right place, right time, good for him.
Yeah, so put his head in the game. So
there you go. I like it. But, Brendan Brisson could be a late call up depending on injuries. There's going to be plenty of them in Vegas. It happens every year. Again, some Golden Knight fans don't like to acknowledge, but there's going to be a lot of injuries, and Brisson could get an opportunity late in the season. And I mean, I think I got to give a write-in vote for, Comtois right now, 24 years old, great future. And we'll see if he does get a shot with the Golden Knights. And he could wind up being a tremendously, important impact player on a $1 million contract, if even that much.
Yeah, I mean, I think Comtois, middle six guy, like he was dynamite for the Ducks, and that team has been hot garbage the past couple seasons. I think putting some better players around him, I think you could see Comtois have a really, really strong season this year, and then go get paid next offseason. All right, where does Vegas finish in the Pacific this year?
I think Seattle's going to surprise a lot of people right now. I think Seattle made some real nice moves. They added some good blue line depth, and Edmonton, I don't trust. I just don't trust Edmonton. Their goaltending, their defense, and you mentioned the 6-5 games. It's more like 8-7 games with Edmonton. So Seattle and Edmonton are both going to be extremely tough. LA is going to be there as well. I think the Golden Knights are a comfortable second, possible third place in the division. Edmonton or maybe Seattle are going to be the surprises. I don't think LA is going to hold up long term though. So give me second place, 105 points.
All right, so you got so I assume we'll go Edmonton just with Connor McDavid, because I think Edmonton, Vegas,
Seattle,
3,
LA.
LA. Does LA make the playoffs or are they out?
LA is the 7 seed.
Okay. And then
Wild card 1, technically, I guess the way it is now, but yeah.
And then how do you got the rest of the division? So you got, Vancouver, Calgary,
let's go
Anaheim.
Vancouver, Anaheim, Calgary. Morning, Joe. And then San Jose. But this is what San Jose. This is what needs to happen though right now. So it's not even a knock. It's I'll say it again. I like the path San Jose is on. I like the rookies. I like Bordelot. I like Eklund. I like everything going on. And a couple of years from now, Anaheim and San Jose might be running the division.
And yeah, you guys will still be trading for
about 3 or 4.
I don't know what they're gonna do when the Sharks got to face the mighty trio of Connor McDavid, Eichel. There's somehow gonna have
wait. Connor McDavid's gonna be in Vegas, right?
That's yeah.
Okay,
they're gonna also
Elias Pettersson's gonna be in Vegas next.
Elias Pettersson's gonna be. They cloned. They figured out how to clone Patrick Waugh for goalie. I have no idea, but they got like a younger version.
We got Adin Hill. We don't need Patrick Waugh.
Prime Patrick Waugh. I don't need him. No. It's gonna be. Yeah, they're gonna. They're gonna figure out how to get everybody. So, but Chris, you said all. Where can the people find you, buddy?
Locked On Vegas Golden Knights, anywhere you get your podcast. Of course, we're going to be on YouTube right now. We're 3 days a week. We'll be back to 5 days a week as well. Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. And then you can also catch me hanging out on Vegas Hockey Now.
All right. And of course, you can follow Locked On Sharks wherever you get podcasts. Also on YouTube. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks, and also Threads. And then you can follow me on Twitter and Threads at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow, where we'll be getting you guys ready for the rookie tournament, rookie camp. I don't know what they call it, the rookie thing this weekend.
Rookie face-off.
I know everybody has a different name for it depending on which region you're in. But yeah, the rookie face-off. We'll be getting you guys ready for that. So
you coming down or no?
No, I am stuck with the boys. My wife is going to Ed Sheeran this weekend, so I'm going to.
Oh, at least you get we ain't got Ed Sheeran in Vegas. The stage collapsed.
So yeah, she's going to Ed Sheeran this weekend. We were supposed to go together, but our babysitter got COVID, so she is going with a friend, and I'm gonna watch some rookies play hockey on Saturday night.
You got the better end of that deal, trust me.
Happy wife, happy life. So anyway, until next time, bye, friends.